Good afternoon. My name is Specialist Harris, and today I'll be giving you a presentation on camouflaging yourself and your individual equipment. It's going to be an unclassified brief, and here are the conditions, standards, and safety risks. So, the conditions, as read there, just make sure that you are aware that we'll be utilizing things such as your individual weapons, different parts of nature, and in some cases charcoal or mud may be utilized. The standard is to have the ability to camouflage yourself and your individual equipment, to not allow yourself to be easily seen or visible. The safety risk is relatively low. However, we are in a classroom environment, so make sure that you are cognizant of any hazards such as loose wires. Make sure you keep all the wires tied down, and also maintain COVID mitigations because we are dealing with that. So now we're going to be discussing the performance steps. The first one, of course, being you must know to apply your camouflage principles throughout camouflage operations. What we'll be doing is just discussing what camouflage is used for. As it states there, you want to break up regular shape. Camouflage doesn't necessarily mean that you're invisible to the naked eye. The idea is to not allow yourself to be noticed immediately. You want to try and blend in with objects and try and make sure that you're not contrasting with your background. You, of course, want to make sure that you cover all of your skin. A really good tip for you will be paint high, shiny areas with dark colors, and paint low, shadow areas with lighter colors. You want to contrast on your face because to our eyes, or to the human eye, there are simple features that stick out immediately that differentiate between what we may have in the background if we were on a wood line, for example. And as you'll see here is a color table that just basically outlines the different type of colors that you would like to utilize whenever you are going to use camouflage. A disclaimer would be to, of course, make sure that you are very cognizant of what is around your surroundings and use mud very seldomly, or you don't want to use mud unless it's a last resort because of the possibility of bacteria. And as you'll just see here, different things that you want to make sure that you do is camouflage your uniform and your helmet. You don't want to just camouflage or put paint on your face, but you can utilize different nature items such as branches, leaves. You want to make sure that on your ACU that you have your sleeves all the way down and buttoned all the way up. And you just want to make sure that it isn't faded. You want to make sure that there are no shiny items visible. If necessary, then it would be better to take them off and put them away. And the last step of the performance is making sure that you maintain your camouflage. You must replace any natural pieces that you utilize, such as leaves or branches, as it starts to die. Once it starts to die, its color starts to fade and it no longer has the ability to blend in with the environment in which you would be around. And with that, that will complete the brief, or at least the talkative version. What I have here is a picture that basically gives you an example of what you want to utilize whenever you're going to be applying camouflage to your facial areas. And all of the resources were through our Warrior Task Skill 1's book. And just once again, a couple of things to keep in mind is this color chart. You want to make sure that you are utilizing colors that go well with the natural environment in which you find yourself in. If it's an urban environment, then you wouldn't use a light green color because it would contrast with your environment. The idea of camouflage is once again to ensure that you are not sticking out or contrasting with your background. You want to make sure that you do as much as you can to blend in with that background. So the shine areas, just something to keep in mind, is of course your forehead, your cheekbones, your ears, your nose, and your chin, where the shadow areas typically tend to be under the eyes, underneath the nose, and underneath the chin. The shadow areas are the areas in which you typically want to use the lighter colors, such as light green, white, or sand, depending on what environment you're in. And of course, the shine areas where typically you would think light green would be very visible, you want to utilize darker colors. You want to offset the facial features that the human eye are used to seeing. And with that, that will complete the briefing portion of this presentation. Next, I will conduct an AAR. What were we supposed to do today? We were supposed to speak about camouflage yourself and your individual equipment. What did we do? We went over camouflage yourself and your equipment, as well as small tips that may assist you in understanding what you must do in order to do so. Some improves will be, of course, to make sure that we do have some examples more than just a picture, such as actual paint where I can paint my face and show you. Some sustains were the amount of information that I was able to put together for this presentation. Everything is visible for you behind me. And with that, Staff Sergeant Lyde, Staff Sergeant Sanford, this will complete my brief. No retraining will be necessary.